Well. In my last YouTube video, I went over whether or not I should be doubting my analysis. And in the end of that video, I mentioned I will sit back and wait. I did not know whether or not my previous analysis would work out. It was a pretty daring analysis, calling for Bitcoin to be down to the lower 20Ks by July 1st, between 21 and 23. And Bitcoin now is falling out potentially of a 7-month long channel. However, the last time that happened, it did blast up, but this last time we did not have what is happening on a different chart. And that other chart here, I'm doing this live just so it can be I'm trying to have my Monday videos out, or not Monday videos, weekday videos out by 10 a.m. And I wasn't able to get that out, so I'm just doing a quick live show and without any plans, so that this counts as the 10 a.m. video, because I'm trying to make it 10 a.m. every day. But what did not happen last time was, if I can throw on the weekly 10 EMA, and a quick tip for anybody who wants more precision, if you use the 1 hour 1680 EMA, you're welcome, by the way, then that is the weekly 10, and it's more precise and much smoother. But the last time that happened, the weekly 10, which is this white line, this is an origin line, which goes back to the origin of price. The weekly 10 was not squeezing price below. So this was bait. This was a fake, a baby bear. This was a bear trap, actually, a very aggressive one, which wicked just below the bottom of a now 7-month long channel. So this was sophisticated algorithms tricking less sophisticated algorithms to go short before they blasted up in their face. However, this time, 2 videos ago, when I made the estimation that Bitcoin essentially has to come down to about 21,500 or so by July 1st, so this is the actual exact target. If it were to hit there exactly on July 1st, I think it'll get there before, which means slightly lower, 21 and change. So, but anyway, Bitcoin is now destined to come down to hit this line. One thing to keep in mind, it could take longer to get there. It's possible that, the exact line that I'm talking about is hit, and my guess on timing is wrong. However, the reason why I made that guess specifically is because historically it almost always gets there before then. This is almost always a volatile move, and the data shows that it should hit there. It should hit this line before. And this line is July 1st. This is the other origin line. And when you get squeezed below an origin line by the weekly 10, you hit this within a certain period of days, and it needs to hit it by that point. And so you have a couple things happening. You have an origin line getting squeezed, or price getting squeezed below an origin line by the weekly 10. And we have looked, so 2 videos ago, public videos ago, we went over what that means, and it means that it's destined to hit there. But also, Bitcoin price is falling out of a 7-month long trading channel. And it might hang out in this yellow triangle for a little bit, and then fall off of 24,000 and change, and then accelerate after it falls below 24K. 24,100 roughly. I can see that happening. Yeah, usually when you fall out of a trading channel, you play around here. Typically, you'll have one more aggressive lower high retesting the bottom of this, but that might not happen. That yellow triangle playground where big money is adding to their shorts before a very big move down. That's usually what's happening. So the yellow triangle is not for humans to trade unless the range is large enough. So that's actually large enough for humans to trade as well, because it's such a big channel. So technically, humans can trade here as well. However, yellow triangles on my charts, it essentially means this is where big money is adding to position before they rip it unidirectionally or monodirectionally. But in this case, we have the weekly 10 squeezing price below the origin line. That might not happen. So, because origin lines are 13 years old, or 13, 14 years old, and this trading channel is only 7 months old. So I'm kind of interested to see how this falls out. Now, don't forget though that there is a small chance. There is a small chance that fundamentals of global finance undoes the idea that Bitcoin does for the first time pretty much ever. It doesn't react to this. Like it happens every time. There's not a single time in Bitcoin history where there's an origin line and the weekly 10 squeezes it below and that it doesn't go down to the next origin line. It's happened. That has happened 0 times. So the chance of that not happening is possible. So it doesn't mean it's 0% chance. But this, and keep in mind though, without the idea of origin lines, that just looking at the 7-month long channel, this is a pretty good spot to potentially pick up more, Bitcoin for a good trade up, or to plan to, start building a long position on lower leverage on this chart only. But the origin line chart says, hell no, you want to build short positions, but that totally disagrees with the 7-month long channel. So I would be cautious here, and I have a yellow triangle here for a reason. I make it yellow, it means pause, like a yellow stoplight, like don't make huge trading decisions here. But either way, whether or not you get a bounce from the bottom or a fall out, there is a major move coming. There is a major move getting ready to happen, but the origin line should reign supreme, and I'm still sticking with the idea that it's going to come down. Even though it looked like I was going to get, my idea was going to not work when price decided to scream back up to 27 and change the other day. But then it came straight back down. So I made the last video pretty bearish here once it got rejected by the weekly. Let me zoom way in there so you can see it. Watch. I made that other video when price, so this is the origin line, and this is, let me make the weekly 10 a different color. How about that? Let's make it bright red. Rejected by the weekly 10 under the origin line. And I made that video about July 1st, Bitcoin needs to hit the next origin line down. And then it really screamed up. And I did perfect. So for other people who are interested in how I traded this, I had the perfect entry. I literally shorted the top on a very high leverage, a pretty large position for myself. But then I exited the trade here because it really looked like it was going to scream up. And then, of course, price went down right after. So this was the American algos, and these were the Chinese and Japanese algos, which were easier to play for me because this just looked too beautifully bullish. And I was in my average entry was about here, and I didn't want it to fly through because I had my stops around here, and I said, you know what, I don't want to take that loss. I'm just going to get out. And then literally the next 1 minute, as if they knew I closed my trade, but that's not true. It was just a beautiful, it was the American algos adding to their shorts in a different way. That's all it was. And I made that video follow up after that. So people came on my channel saying, oh, it blasted up or whatever. It's like, well, not really. It only went up 0.6% higher than the yellow triangle that we had within here. So we had a yellow triangle going on. See if I can quickly make it. Something to this effect. And it only blasted 0.6% above. I just quickly made this, but it was 0.65% above what my expectations were. So less than 1% off of my expectations. However, it was very, very aggressive, as you can see. This was very aggressive. So I had a few people, I think a guy who, his username, I've banned him, but I actually grew up with a guy named Matt Brady. This guy kept coming on my channel. You don't know what you're talking about, this and that. But there you go. You shouldn't get too fooled by less than 1% off of my specific expectations. However, it did look pretty aggressive. But he and a couple of other people, came on, were pretty ruthless, just because of this hot move after I made the video about July 1st. But here we are now. Ta-da. Now, if things start turning around and the origin line idea doesn't work, well, it's going to become pretty obvious. Bitcoin will put in some time here and try to work its way up, and that will take probably through the first whole week of June. So it's going to have to come up, challenge the local highs around 27, maybe even pop above it a little bit, around 27.8, as high as that. But then it will have to come back down to 27 even to touch the bottom of the channel, and then start blasting up the second week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of June. The second Tuesday and second Wednesday of June. Oh no, that would be the first. Let's see here. The first day of June is a Thursday. So no, I apologize. The first full week of June, that's what you would be looking at. But if price is going to not for the first time ever not do what the origin lines and weekly 10 says it has to do, that's what it will have to do. Bitcoin will need to come back into the bottom. So this is the bottom of a 7-month long channel. It'll have to challenge the local highs somewhere around 27 and change, just to review, 27.5, perhaps as high as 27.8. Then it'll have to come back down to rest and prove the bottom of the channel as support, because it simply doesn't have permission to blast up from the bottom of the channel like it did last time. It's not a 0% chance, but it's so exceptionally unlikely that it blast up similar to the last time it touched, that it's just not even worth thinking about. It's just not going to happen within a reasonable. It's not even worth talking about because of the posturing of the weekly 10 here, the red line and the origin line. It doesn't have permission to do that again. So it will have to take time. So if the idea of the origin line and the weekly 10 is wrong, you're going to have a couple weeks to see it. So. However, it's just such a small percentage chance of this happening that, it's not worth really thinking about, but at least we know if this chart gets it wrong, then you're going to have plenty of time to view it and prepare for longs. Just total. So, and again, I always like to go over that because, if I mention things on my channel that I feel that are very high probability, I like for my viewers to know, what will you see in the charts if my, sitting here saying, oh, it's super high probable, if it just is wrong, which I've been wrong several times in the last 3 years doing that. Well, I wouldn't say, a small handful of times. I need to prepare you for that, so you're not just blindly doing irresponsible crap with your accounts. But it will take time. It will be the first full week of June, and you'll have total amount of time, and it will move just like that. It has to. That's the way price moves. Okay, but something in between, like maybe it doesn't really heat up to the downside. Something that I could see happening is it hangs out in this yellow triangle here for quite a while, and so if I could replicate that yellow triangle somehow on here, let's see here. Ooh, that's going to be tough to do. Totally different angles. I'm not going to be able to replicate that very well. Yeah, I'll just do it on this chart. So, but I don't have my origin lines on this chart. The same origin lines. 21 and change, July 1st. Let me put this at July 1st. About there. Here we go. So this is our target. I will put a target down here. There you go. That's our target right here. Target practice. That's July 1st or very early July. And so what might happen on this chart here, if you're trying to short, for example, which I'm not trying to get anybody to short, I'm telling you my opinions. What you do with that in your account is up to you. But something that could frustrate people a lot and convince you that it's going to go up is if you get a bounce from the 25, so these labeled areas, 25.3 or 24.100 roughly, it could make a very aggressive lower high. And that lower high could go as high as 28,000. It's maybe even 28.3. Very unlikely to happen, but that would be a beautiful bull trap, similar to how there was a perfect bear trap back in March when Bitcoin wicked below the 7 month long channel and went just under 20K. It was very aggressive and it looked very bearish, but then it blasted up. So one thing to watch out for that would make you think my analysis is wrong when truly it's still going to happen is this. That could be tricky. So watch out for that as well. But in general, it's just exceptionally high probability that Bitcoin is going to make a fairly sizable and move down where you're going to have a tradable trend to the downside for quite a while. Let me define that. For at least a couple weeks or more. So 2 to 6 weeks long. The probability of that happening, a downtrend, a tradable downtrend for 2 to 6 weeks is very, very high. However, it could be tricky at the beginning before it lets go of 24K. So after 24K, there might not be much trend to trade because it could really just spill. It could spill. And so it might not be easy to trade this move in general from current price of 26,300 all the way down to 21. Most of the ability to profit from this move might be in a range of some sort like this, and then perhaps slowly build a position when it gets stuck under 25,300 and then let it rip, because you might not be able to find an entry once it gets down to the 24 range and start settling on it. It might be pretty hard to enter there. And so I am ready to potentially, trade this triangle and really look for an aggressive lower high back up to 27,400, which would be pinging off the bottom of the 7 month long channel. And then I would probably just try to hold that down to there. That would be my most perfect play if I could have my Harry Potter wand and tell Bitcoin what to do. That would be beautiful. But also, but watch out, because it might convince your brain, if you don't have this 7 month long channel on here, it might convince you that, that guy's wrong. It's like, look how aggressive that is. Because, just recently, a one being 0.8 of 1% off of my general idea. So it went out of my yellow triangle by 0.65%. People coming on our channel like, yeah, I told you don't know what you're talking about, right? Well, this is a lot bigger than 0.8 of 1%. That's 13%. That's 13%. Let me make this a little bigger, watch, so you can see this better. Well, I think you could see that on there. It's kind of small. It says, but yeah, this could be a 15% move up to retest the bottom of it. And that's really all she wrote for this. So now the probabilities are pretty damn highly locked in. Okay, now what would that look like on this chart? Let's see if these two charts agree. So back to a retest, what did I say, 27 and... No, I said about, it could be as high as so from here to here, all the way up to 27.5. All right, so and that's a 13% move. Does this chart with the weekly 10, so this red line here is the weekly 10, squeezing price under an origin line. Does this agree? I haven't checked this. I don't actually know. It might say no. I don't know if it's going to allow it. That might be really improbable to happen, everybody. I would still watch out for it though. But I don't think I'm going to get that beautiful retest. This might just fall right off. But usually long channels don't do that. But now we have the conundrum of an origin lines play happening at the same time, which there's not much history of that. There aren't many data points of Bitcoin falling off of a macro channel and falling off of an origin line with a weekly 10 squeeze. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. Be prepared for it. I would not plan for that to happen. So I wouldn't plan for, if Bitcoin comes down to 25.3 or 24 before it gives a small bounce. Once that gives some type of bounce, which it probably will, I wouldn't expect it to be very big. $27. Oh, no. Wait. Maybe it does. Hold on. Maybe I'm not thinking correctly. Let me put 24 down here first and then measure. I apologize. Maybe it does. So 24.1 down here comes down and then charges all the way back up to hit the weekly 10 failure pattern above it. So I'll make that red. It'll come up shy. So it actually could happen, but it won't hit the bottom of the it'll come up shy of this it would probably be limited to oops. What the hell just happened? It would probably be limited to going up to 26,700. I don't see it going above this line much. So if Bitcoin bounces from 25.3 or from 24 even, I don't see it going much above. It'll come up shy of the channel, and it won't really be able to get up to 27 again. But it could be a tradable move up, and it could be aggressive as well. So that's still 10%. If it went all the way down to 24.1, if it bounced at 25.3, what did I say? 25.3 is the other one. If it bounced off 25.3, then you'd have it's still a tradable move on leverage. That's a 5% move, and it could be pretty hot, just depending on where it decides to bounce. And I think I've covered pretty much everything. So, you are too good to be great. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been really on it with this. I mean, during this channel, or the trading channel here, I've done a pretty damn good job. So even though I did not see this large move coming after 55. I mean, I don't know who anybody expected this. Like, who expected such a powerful move right off the lows? Even though it did consolidate for a couple months, but after this happened, and the daily RSI went into the 80 mark, which means it doesn't have permission to go down for months. Then it didn't. It didn't go down for a long time. Yeah, this channel has guided me pretty well. I think my analysis since January of this year has been freaking solid. Has been really freaking solid here. And I was even looking for a lower high. I was even back here. If you want to go to late April, my videos that I was making there, I was even saying, there's no reason to be bearish yet, but the daily trend got broken. So I'm looking for this to be the first lower high. And it was. And if you try to compare anybody else out there on the internet, I don't think anybody else was looking for that because it was bullish time. That was a great, now it Bart Simpsoned and knocked me out of the trade. Damn it. No. I took profit on that first move down. I did. I did get that. However, I wasn't able to re-enter because it's hard to trade BART patterns. So I didn't get an amazing trade off that, even though I was looking for a trade that I could hold on to for a long time. But it Bart Simpsoned, and you just can't do it like that. Only big money can hold on to positions during Bart Simpson pattern because they're the ones making it. But anyway, my analysis though, I don't think you can find anybody else on YouTube in late April around the 26th, around the 26th. So plus or minus a few days, who said the words, I'm looking for a first daily lower high here. So I really started nailing it after that point. But these are all the ways price can move. So be prepared for it. Be prepared. So mixing the charts together, this has permission to come down to 24, come all the way back up to 26 and change, which means it should come up shy of hitting the bottom of the 7-month-long channel, and it would mostly get rejected from this horizontal here. That's what could happen. But this chart says it has permission just to start flooding. Like, this could really flood down. It could really flood down. So those are the two ways I see price moving. A check of 25.3 or 24 even, then an aggressive move up to form a lower high, and then hang out for, I don't know, a week or so before falling off the cliff of 24K and then aggressively going down $3,000 all the way down to 21K. That's one. Or it just starts getting aggressive now and just you have a, I don't know, just a straight up aggressive trend all the way down to 21K. I think those are the two most probable ways that price is getting ready to move over the next month and 10 days. Month and 5 days. So June should be pretty bloody. And if you want to mix in June 1st as the monthly, so what I could see happening here, if I want to get specific with timing, to try to suggest timing, I think Bitcoin might want to get down to 24 even or 25.3 in this box before the monthly close. Then the monthly backfill, the June starts green to create a green wick or a red wick up, but it'll look green, right? The month will be green. And then start heading down. So that is the wick of a then red candle. So if I could suggest timing of the market, which is very hard to do, although I've succeeded many times in my life, and I failed many times as well. But if I can give a loose suggestion, I would suggest, I don't know, I think 25.3 or 24 would be hit before the monthly close. And it could happen exactly at the monthly close, like literally to the second. I've seen price hit weekly closures and its exact points, like just an exact data point that I have. I've seen it hit there and just slowly go down. And then that last second before the monthly close, it hits it. And then when that month now begins, literally 1 second, then it bounces. So the market makers are timing this perfectly to big candles, like to the 1 second. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, but it might happen exactly like this might be hit exactly at the at 8 p.m. New York, on even though that's not my main guess, but they have the ability to time the market to the second at exact dollar levels. I've seen it happen over and over and over. So that would be my play. Hit this box before the or as the next monthly opens, and then backfill. And it might not be that big of a backfill. Like, it doesn't have to be an aggressive move up. It could just be backfill and then meaning it moves in the more aggressive way that I had. All right, so this is your 10 a.m. video of the day. Again, I'm trying to have videos out for free YouTube by 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Today I failed in that endeavor, so I jumped on and did a public live instead at 10:10. So if I ever miss my mark, I'll do a quick live video, and that's it. So you'll see my video, a follow-up video to this tomorrow by 10 a.m.